I must say I've been caught completely unawares on this. I think the fact that political parties are trying to make political capital out of what is a great tragedy is not entirely unexpected as far as I'm concerned. What really concerns me is the fact that there are sections of the media that should also be trying to make political capital out of this. I don't know how many of the people who sit on these chat shows and discuss a tragedy like this have ever been anywhere near a tragedy of this nature. I myself experienced one long ago. I happened to be sub-divisional magistrate in a place called Cox's Bazar in what was then East Pakistan, when a cyclone hit it, at the end of which 138,000 people had been killed. And at the end of it, about a few months later, there came a team and they wanted to investigate what had been done during the cyclone. Now, 6 hours before the cyclone hit, all the telephone lines went out. There was no email, there was no internet in those days, and yet there was this, some idiot of a grade 20 officer who wouldn't know a cyclone if it hit him in the face, who came and asked me what steps had been taken. So I showed him the manual and the steps that we had taken. And he said, no, I want to know whether you did anything. So I said, like what? Like, did you go out to try and do anything? I said, yes, I did. And he said, well, what happened? So I said, I'll tell you what happened. I had a battery-operated megaphone hailer in my hand. And I was shouting at it at the top of my lungs. And my second officer was sitting as far as you are sitting here in the first row, and he couldn't hear me. That is what the wind sounds when a cyclone is 1 hour away from hitting you. I said at 11 o'clock, we all went in home, and I locked my doors, and a young cousin of my wife was staying with us, and about at midnight she completely lost her nerve. The howling was so great. She came at the door, which was about, say, 6 feet from us, and she banged at the door with all her might, and she was shrieking. I couldn't hear her. And I said, that's what a cyclone is. Have you ever been near one? The point that I'm trying to make is that it's very easy to make anybody a whipping boy when a tragedy like this happens. And the government is the easiest whipping boy you can get hold of. I mean, in Pakistan, the most popular thing to do is to throw mud on the government. But I don't know of any government anywhere in the world which has been able to tackle a tragedy of even half the seriousness of this and come out with good marks. That just doesn't happen. And I think it's time for Iftar, so I think it would be infinitely more productive if we concentrated our resources on the sort of things that the YPPG is doing today, instead of trying to find fault and say, why couldn't this be done better? Of course, everything can be done better. There's no situation in the world. There's no situation in the world in which you can say things cannot be done better. But that is a mindset which, at this type of tragedy, leads absolutely nowhere. I've been through it, I've seen it, and I know how totally counterproductive that can be, because what happens with you then as an official on the spot is that instead of trying to help the people who are actually affected, all that you are trying to do is cover up your backside and try to make sure that, you know, all the paperwork is in order, so that when somebody comes around asking, you have all the papers to show them. I don't think that's really the way to go. Can I once again congratulate the YPPG for all the good work that they're doing.